Welcome to the sister show, the Public Relations Podcast. This is a show called quite literally Getting a Job in PR, and it is all about doing that. My name is Richard Medson, and if you've not met me yet, I'm a career PR in European politics, a news editor, and a journalist in the UK, and now I also teach PR and comms at a university. Now, in this show, we talk to agencies, in-house comms managers, and comms recruiters around the world to ask them what you need to do to be able to get into and be successful at PR and strategic comms today, wherever you are in the world. And this is much more on the show. I've said this before in previous episodes. If you want to find out more about what we're looking into, some of the common themes that we're hearing from different guests as well that might help you, then, and also the research we're doing too, head to the website, gettingajobinpr.com. Right, I am delighted to be joined in this episode by Ben Jacobson from inboundjunction.com, based in Tel Aviv in Israel. Ben is the Chief Content Officer at Inbound Junction. And if you were just listening to the Public Relations Podcast, you will know him already. But if not, Ben, please introduce yourself again.
Sure. My name is Ben Jacobson. I'm Chief Content Officer. In our firm, that means basically a hybrid of kind of a senior strategist and an account manager, a glorified account manager.
You're getting yourself down there. It's like someone that really matters, in other words. Exactly. Listen, you've seen a lot of the industry over the years. I mean, we were just talking on the Public Relations Podcast about how it's been changing even over the past couple of years with AI. So I'm fascinated to hear some of your thoughts on this one. The question I ask everyone to kind of kick these conversations off is, if you were starting out once again, but knowing what you know now, how would you get into the industry?
Yeah, I don't know. I've been in comms job for a really long time. I've been in my current position or at least with my current firm, for coming up on 10 years. So, the whole idea of looking for a job is very foreign to me, thank God.
Yeah, you've proved yourself now. It's not the problem. But if you literally,
Right.
if you kind of could take what you know now and stick it in your head, but go back to when you started, what would you do?
I don't know. I think, look, we talked a little bit before recording about, the importance of building relationships. And I think that's really, it can't be emphasized enough, let's say. I can tell you, a couple months ago, a young woman reached out to me cold. She was a student, and she said she had looked at some of my posts on social media, some of the articles I had published with my own byline. She wanted to pick my brain a little bit. Can we get on a call? Okay, let's get on a call. So she asked great questions. Like, she had really been paying attention to what I was talking about, what I was writing about. And, it wasn't just stroking my ego. It was really wanting to understand in more depth for herself. And, she wasn't asking for a job or anything, but she did mention that she was going to be finishing her degree soon and looking. I thought to myself, this young woman, I'm sure I'm not the only one she's reaching out to like that. She's going to get hired in no time. And sure enough, I saw, a couple months later that she had gotten hired, and, to offer her congratulations there, it felt good to me. I think that's where it's at. I can tell you, I did some thinking ahead of this recording about different skills that I think are very important, especially today. A lot of them have to do around audience research, being able to really know who are the personas, what are their pain points, what are their fears, what are the different media channels that they frequent, who are they paying attention to, and then, to really be able to get in there with also relevant storytelling. And, I see way too often in PR and other, content, the focus is about the company. The focus is about the product. And it's just such a turnoff to audiences. I think, the best storytelling makes the audience member the hero of the story and really offers them value.
It's a story, not an advert.
Right. Exactly. So I think that's something that's missing in the industry, and people who know how to do that will move up.
I mean, Ben, let's go through some of these, because I mean, you've already hit on several of them. I mean, first of all, this conversation, it was interesting. I was talking to someone the other day who was saying that they get, you would think that they're bombarded all the time by people reaching out, but they're not. And okay, they filter out the ones that it's pretty obvious that they've got a really bad approach. But if someone sounds genuinely interested, he'll give them 15 minutes. And it's interesting
Yeah.
that not many people are doing this, or not many people are doing it well in that reach out. What was it about that person that was interesting to you?
Well, I think you're asking like that made me say
Yeah.
yes to the call. Or yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can tell you more. I've already spoken a bit about what impressed me once I was
Yeah.
on the call. I don't remember what it was about her initial outreach that made me say, oh, maybe I think it was a very low pressure ask. If you're too busy, no worries. We can make it
Mm.
really short, or and I just, I don't know, something about it
It
got
felt
my,
authentic.
yeah, it felt
Mhm.
authentic, and it maybe amplified a little bit my empathy. Okay, this person, I'm in a position to kind of pay it forward and give this person some help.
Mm.
So why not for a few minutes?
And what was it when you were on the call with her? I'm just interested because, as I say, I talked to someone the other day, it's exactly the same thing. I'm interested in what resonated with you, because it sounds like she was just asking really good questions that were insightful. I mean,
Yeah.
was it the sort of depth of knowledge? Was it the thought process?
Yeah, and I think, yeah, that's basically it. Like it wasn't generic
Yeah.
questions. It wasn't your obvious, "Oh, I see you talked about this. Tell me more
Mm,
about that."
mm.
It was much more, well, but I know this person says that, and how do you reconcile those concepts, or how do you talk about the need to do that and the need to do that. How do you balance those things? It was very like next level of
Yeah.
thinking that got me impressed.
That's really interesting. So, yeah, it wasn't just coming in there going, "I agree with you. I think you're amazing, Ben. Please give me a job." It was
Right.
like, "I genuinely want to discuss these things. By the way, I'm also going to graduate soon."
Yeah, exactly.
That's really interesting. I mean, so give me another sort of skills. You were talking about the ability to tell a story, and is this the kind of thing that you think people need to know before they're going into the comms industry, or at least have an understanding of? I mean, how much sort of runway do you think they have when they get in before you've got to be able to get this stuff going? Or do you think they need to come in the door ready?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, kind of both. I mean, I think there's always, as with everything, there's a fake it till you make it, you know,
Mm.
route that you have to take. You have to kind of quiet the voice inside of you that's imposter
Mm.
syndrome, and just kind of dive in, even if you don't have those skills or if they're not as deep as you'd like. On the other hand, there is work you can do to develop those skills before you're in the market for a job. And I think, there's nothing wrong with, just kind of opening up your own blog on LinkedIn or Medium or WordPress, whatever it is, and just start blogging, start sharing your ideas, even if it's just with yourself, to kind of get your craft going. And that's the kind of thing that could be impressive to hiring managers also.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like, yeah, thinking back to that example you gave of the conversation you had, and it's like, I'm thinking to myself, that
Mhm.
person didn't necessarily come across as knowing it all. It was just that they were thinking about it all. Is that a fair way to sum it up?
Yeah, yeah, someone who's curious and hungry to refine their skills, that makes a big
Yeah.
impression
So
for
as long
sure.
as you can almost develop a bit of the mental, well, either develop or you need to have, frankly, I think, don't you? If you're not a curious person, you're not going to be any good at this game. But you've got to be able to kind of express that as well. Okay, let's move on to, so
Yep.
in terms of people that you've worked with over the years, when you see new people come in the office, who are the ones that, and what do they do that makes you go, God, that was a good hire. We got them. What is it about them?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think, well, sometimes it's skills, but I would say an
Mhm.
expertise, but I would say that's probably the minority of the situations. I think I'm more impressed by our junior team members when they have a
Mhm.
hunger, fire to achieve, and kind of devour new tactics, new strategies to really get into it. but also mixed with humbleness, with modesty to understand this is what I don't know and this is what I want to, and that could mean just diving into learning new things.
So in terms of that
Yeah.
hunger, how does that kind of manifest itself? Is it someone that goes out and studies a new technique and comes into the office and go, we should try this? Or what sort of ways have you seen that?
I don't know if I've
Oh,
encountered that yet, but that would be very impressive.
oh, there's a tip straight
Um,
away.
yeah, right.
What would you say is that demonstration of hunger then? Because it's like, it's
Right,
even like I just said a
right,
few moments ago, someone that demonstrates curiosity, and it's like, well, what is curiosity in the workplace? Is it asking questions? I mean, what does it
right.
mean, kind of thing? So kind of, what is hunger?
So I think a lot of it is kind of self-guided, self-education. Here's an aspect of the job I don't really know about this, and then so how do I wrap my head around it? And then, if it's finding a series of YouTube videos to watch, a course to do, a book, a thought leader to follow, whatever it is to kind of, devote themselves to that process of learning. The other is you can see it in, I don't want to be one of these hustle culture guys, but you can see it sometimes in the hours that
Yeah.
the person puts in that, they're they want to show that they're going to nail this down. They're not going to just say, well, I
Yeah, I'm just getting a paycheck.
gonna go implement it now and I'll figure it out
Yeah.
tomorrow. They're gonna stick around till they
Yeah.
nail it down.
What about the people that don't survive? I mean, what are kind of some of the red flags that you've seen over the years where you just kind of go, they've just not got it. They shouldn't have come into this kind of industry.
It's a good question. I don't know if we've had so many people like that in my firm. There was one guy who was so focused on process and kind of operations, and he was always trying to implement too much automation into what he was doing and trying to explain to everyone else why we had to implement these new systems instead of just getting the job done. And I think he moved on to that kind of a
Mm.
role, which was
Yeah,
a
great.
better fit for him. Yeah.
So kind of too
Yeah, I
distracted
guess,
by his own interests rather than doing what the job needed.
or well, I don't know if that's a minus. That's a
Oh yeah,
discovery
yeah. Not saying it's a
process.
negative. I'm just saying within
Yeah.
your particular company. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But I think, yeah, you need to have a balance because there's always ways that teams can improve
Mhm,
processes. There's
mhm,
nothing wrong with that. But, it has to be mixed with getting the
mm.
work done too.
Yeah, one of my guests said the other day. She said she hired someone for a role, and the person said, "I'm very happy to do that. I'd love to do this little thing on top of it as well. I will still do my job, but I'll do this thing on top." And she did, came in, did a job properly, did that bit as well, and great hire. So it's like if you're adding on,
Yeah.
but if you're distracted, then obviously that's not so good.
Yeah. We have in our firm, our model is that our account managers have to manage their accounts. But on top of that, how are they helping the agency as a whole? How are they helping the team? Is there one aspect of everyone's campaigns that they can make easier for everyone or provide some kind of support for everyone? And the people who move up in our agency are the people who kind of say, okay, this is a little corner of what everyone does that I'm going to own and make better for everybody.
A final question for you, Ben. If you could wave a magic wand and get educational institutions, whether it's schools, whether it's university, whatever, to teach something that then when a person came into your office, it was like, yeah, I'm glad they taught that. What would it be? What would be your dream thing people would be taught?
Wow. I don't know if I have anything. I think everything is changing
Mhm.
so fast that,
Like AI and
you know, I,
GEO even.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, by the time a university implements a new course or, a new aspect of a syllabus, it could be irrelevant. I don't know.
That's a great
Maybe that's the skill. I think people to teach themselves how to keep track of the latest. I don't
That's a
know.
great point, though, in terms of teaching people how to teach themselves to keep up to date, isn't that?
Yeah.
That's a really interesting point. Yeah, rather than a specific skill, it's actually staying on top of things.
Yeah, because the skills come and
Yeah,
go.
that's really interesting. Ben, thank you so much for sharing all your ideas today. I mean, it's really appreciated. You've recorded 2 shows with us. If people would like to find out more about your company and about you, even though this show is about people across the world, tell us how they can find out more.
Sure. Yeah, on LinkedIn, search for Ben Jacobson, Inbound Junction. I'll probably come up. Yeah, and then inboundjunction.com. That's our agency's website. Those are the best ways to reach
Fantastic.
us.
Ben, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Thank you so much for your time.
Likewise. Thank you, Richard.
Wonderful.
This is great.
And we will continue our journey around the world. I think, what have we done now? We've done Israel today. We've done USA. We've got a Melbourne one coming up. We've got UK, Middle East, all over the place. We've got loads more coming up on this show, so keep up to date with it. We will have more advice on how you can develop your career or get into a career in public relations and strategic conversing.